Hi, I'm Eden Dranger, and I'm a TV comedy writer. I've written on shows like The Unicorn and most recently Beavis and Butthead. And I've also written a few features that hopefully everyone will get to see soon too. And I'm here today to talk about Ted Lasso and kind of break it down and talk about what's amazing about it and what's not so amazing and all that good stuff about that good show that everyone loves. First season, Ted Lasso starts off with a female owner of a football team in Richmond, and she kind of inherited it, I guess, from her ex-husband and wants to get back at him. So in order to get back at him, she hires a football coach from the US who doesn't really know anything about UK football.
Heck, you could fill 2 internets with what I don't know about football.
Everyone goes apeshit in England because they care about football so fucking much that they get really pissed about this new hire. And everybody's very skeptical of Ted Lasso, including the owner and including everybody on the team. But he is just delightful, just a ray of positive sunshine, and you want to be really annoyed with him, but you can't. It's impossible because he'll win you over. And he does. Throughout the season, you see him win everybody over, from the owner who set him up to kind of destroy her team, to the teammates that, you know, kind of judge him really harshly at first and doubt his capabilities, to, you know, all the fans of the team that also call him wanker.
Let's see what we got here. Wanker. Piss off, wanker. Wanker.
And then slowly realize, oh, maybe he does know what he's doing, and maybe he is actually a good coach. The culture in the UK around football is so, like, people break up over it. People have to, like, it's not healthy. There's been a lot of horrible stuff said about players on social media, racist things.
Your dad might be a little racist.
Stop! He's in his 60s and he's from South London. Of course, my dad's a little racist.
And people claim to be fans of these athletes, but when things get bad, I don't see a lot of people standing up for them. I really wish Ted Lasso would touch on some of that because it's an issue. And no, it's not funny, but I actually think the way to spoon feed social issues to people in a digestible way is actually through comedy. It's kind of sad because it's like,
Yes, I am.
I feel like Ted Lasso is a very glossy view of not just Ted Lasso, but of everything. And ask anyone who's not white in the UK about a major problem with their sports teams there, and they'll mention that it's a problem. I feel like this is white people trying to be woke when they try to fold in diversity, but not address the problem of what the diversity has to put up with. I know I'm a white woman saying this, and I'm sure people are just like, fuck off. But I don't know. I would love to see more of the real life struggles that encompass the football in England around racial issues, the xenophobia issues, all those things.
Hi, Rebecca.
A lot of TV recently has just been incredibly cynical. We hadn't seen a very positive character like Ted Lasso since I think Parks and Rec, which was when, like, we had like Leslie Knope and a few other characters in there who were very, very positive, or The Office, like Michael Scott.
Do I need to be liked? Absolutely not. I like to be liked. I enjoy being liked. I have to be liked.
A good show involves really rich characters, and Ted Lasso really leaned into that and found just amazing, amazing characters that you could put them in any situation and it's funny and interesting, and like you want to see that. We all want to see what shenanigans they're going to get into, which I think why it was such a successful show and why people keep watching it, despite the fact that I think the second season has been suffering from some of the conflicts that I think really helped drive the first season. I feel like they kind of mellowed out in the second season, but I won't go too much into that because I know people are still catching up. I think the one character that I think, oh, I totally know people like that, is Roy Kent, because I totally know people who try to put on this kind of tough exterior and deep down are actually really big teddy bears and softies.
I mean it, stay the fuck away from me.
And perhaps it's because they grew up in an environment where that was not really encouraged for men to be softies and to be vulnerable and to be, and maybe they're making up for it because they are like that. So they feel like, oh God, I'm really like, I really love Celine Dion, and I better just curse a lot so people don't think I'm a wuss.
Did your former club play well?
No, I thought they played like shit.
I do think he becomes way more confident in himself. And we see that, oh, he's really not an asshole or a super tough guy. He's a really, really kind-hearted, intelligent guy.
You just have someone that makes you feel like you've been struck by fucking lightning.
There are characters that when I first saw the show, I was like, we're not going to see much of this person. And they ended up being like a huge part. Like Higgins, like, you know, like actually I love Higgins. Higgins is probably like my favorite side throwaway character because it's funny, all the Higgins jokes are just of him like reacting to shit thrown at him.
I'm not a spy, Rebecca. I'm just the director of football operations.
It's beautiful. And I feel, you know, you feel for this guy, but like, he's also like kind of bad. Like, you don't know if he's the antagonist. You don't know if he's like a good guy at heart. It's really hard to tell, but yet he gets everything thrown at him. And you don't feel bad about that either. Like, it's kind of fun. He definitely is like the perfect person to dump all that stuff on.
I promised the boys would watch Empire Strikes Back tonight, and I have to get my thoughts together for when they ask about Luke and Leia making out.
There are people like that have to deal with everyone's drama and shit. And, you know, and you're kind of unknown of like, where do their intentions really lie? Like, he's a little bit of enigma, right? If you're a Mike Judge fan, do you remember Office Space? The guy, I forgot his name, the guy with the stapler.
And he took my stapler and he never brought it back.
You know, he blows up the whole building at the end, right? Like, and you're like, oh, that came out of nowhere, right? He just flat out did terrorism. I kind of want to see Higgins do that.
I don't have to imagine I've done it.
I think a lot of TV shows, including many TV shows written by women, and mind you, there are a lot of women on the writing staff for Ted Lasso, so I'm not saying it's not written by women, but I think a lot of other TV shows that are written by women, even created by women, like to pit women against each other. And in some respects, that's understandable because one of the hard things about being a woman is that we have to win over the guys, but we also have to really win over the girls, which is really hard. A lot of women don't necessarily like to support other women, especially in areas where that's dominated by men, because there's not many spots.
Your casual misogyny, for one. I know, it's a big word. Ask one of your daughters what it means.
Naturally, in like a football situation where there is a lot of men, you would think, oh, the female characters in this situation, they're going to be pitted against each other and they're going to be rivals. And it seems that it's being set up that way in Ted Lasso, but it ends up totally being the opposite case, where actually the female characters are not only helping each other, but become a more powerful force and elevate the team in a much better way.
I've always wanted to see what it's like to run a football club.
I mean, I hate the term girl boss, but like that's real girl boss right there. Female friendships are really hard, like beautiful ones. You don't see that a lot on television unless the show is literally about female friends, like Sex and the City or something. Like I think that was the last show, but that show is based on female friendships. But like, you know, a lot of shows, it's like they're always like fighting with each other. I mean, Friends, they're always like fighting with each other, even though they were living together. Women are generally pitted against each other. And it's just very refreshing to see, oh, they're actually not. And actually it's the men that are the drama queens in this situation and have the quote unquote cat fights.
Oh, that's right. Y'all don't know I like to keep the peanut butter open.
I don't know what it's like to be coached as a professional soccer player. However, I love Ted Lasso's interest in the players individually, not just about how they play, but about their lives and caring about what they do. And I think a good boss is someone who deeply cares about every individual he oversees, because I think the knowledge and the trust that you have with the people you oversee is so important.
Ain't no lie. Yeah. Then the hands. Bye, bye, bye.
It's a team. So even though it's a team, though, every individual person will approach it differently. And I think Ted Lasso goes above and beyond to really touch every player's heart and earn their trust. And I think that's very noble of any coach to do, no matter what, soccer, little league soccer, anything. Like, I think that's a very, very important trait to have.
Actually, did y'all get the OJ trial over here?
I recommend the show. I think it's still like any really solid show. It's got amazing characters that are fun to watch. And as much as we like to make fun of Ted Lasso for being the the optimist and all that stuff, kind of quotes Walt Whitman and says like,
Be curious, not judgmental.
and that sounds incredibly cheesy and something that you would see on like a teabag thing or an Instagram post. But there's something to that, to be curious and not judgmental. And I really think if people were more curious instead of being judgmental, the world would be a much better place. I'm a very cynical person, so I always strive to be a little less judgmental and a little more curious. So I think deep down, also the show just has a really good lesson, and I hope actually does change some people's hearts and minds.